They charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Good morning, fellow patriots, and welcome back to another episode of Allegedly Bravo, a podcast where we talk about all things reality crime. I'm Cash.
And I'm Lauren. How are you?
You know, not well.
Not well.
Not well.
A little hungover?
A lot hungover.
A lot.
Like I'm pretty sure I'm still drunk.
Well, not to trigger you, but I'm sorry. I had to. Don't gag.
Wow. You know, and the problem is the morning, being hungover in the morning, I'm already like a gaggy person in the morning.
Yeah.
And so when you add the hungover to it, it's not fun.
Well, I'm drinking for two of us today. I'm drinking the Topo Chico hard seltzer tropical mango flavor. I'm obsessed with these. Cash is drinking her own saliva and chewing gum and just trying to maintain homeostasis.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go pop a kombucha. You know, sometimes those help. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to bring the same level of energy I normally bring.
I'll bring the energy. I've got the energy. I'll bring the energy. I'm very well rested. I slept for like 14 hours last night.
Wow.
I went to bed at like 8 p.m. We were trying to watch a movie and I could not even keep my eyes open. Like I had to sit on the edge of the couch.
Update the listeners with you have a personal update, don't you?
Personal update. I live with my boyfriend now. I live with a boy. It is
crazy.
It's a fucking trip, you guys. Like I'm learning a lot. It's so fun. He's making me bacon right now for breakfast. Yes, I'm having a Topo Chico for breakfast. It's fine.
And you know that you're with the right person when they don't judge you for popping open a hard seltzer at 10-12 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
He handed it to me. I go, oh, gotta go record with Cash. And he goes, don't forget your seltzer.
Wow.
I said, good God, I love you.
Yeah. Wow. So exciting. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How fun.
Okay. And then in legal updates, we have
oh God.
the Erica Jane of it all. I guess she's been sued for like $25 million by the attorney Ron Richards. And attorney Ron Richards will repost it on our Instagram. I haven't gotten to it yet, but he posted the document that shows the like accounting of which monies from Girardi Keese were spent by Erica. So it's like a whole entire thing. There's like $14 million on an Amex. Like,
you imagine spending $14 million on a credit card, like charging that to your credit card.
And then it's like to see her on the screen and be like, if Tom stole the money, I'd like to know where it is. I'm like, hanging from your ears.
Your little Jaguar Cartier earrings.
Yeah. Which, by the way, when we were live posting the episode, I go, anyone got a price check on these suckers? These diamonds here hanging from her ears. And somebody sent in a screenshot of the website and those earrings weren't on them. And then someone else was like, yo, I think they're knockoffs. So if you mean to tell me that, I don't know what that was for. Why were you empathetic?
It's like a moment where like I'm so happy to see her wearing knockoffs.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's just I feel like that made my heart full.
Okay, good. I was trying to gauge the
no sympathy. Yeah. Remember when I used to have sympathy for this monster?
You know what? It happens to the best of us. Like when you know better, you do better. And now we know better.
And I'm speaking in hyperbole. Remember, you guys, it will make sense later, but
it'll make sense later. Here's a joke that you don't know anything about until later. Stick around.
I can like barely keep my body upright.
I know. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm going to just give the background, tell the little story about what we're talking about today. Is that okay?
Yes. Well, first, who are we talking about? What's our topic?
Hello, Un-BELLINO and his lawsuit against Tamra Judge and Shannon Beador. And I think Heather McDonald was involved.
She was the big Bellino.
The big Bellino of it all, Jimmy B.
You guys, this story took me back to my law school days because I've never ever dealt with defamation in the real world, and studying it in law school was you guys, it's the biggest topic.
So defamation is basically it's huge. It's a big lawsuit that we have going on. So basically everybody knows that you have the freedom of speech. So defamation is when you kind of like the restraints on that freedom is like the easiest way I can put that. So really quickly, I'll just give a little background into what happened. So this was about 2018, on or about 2018. Tamra and Shannon Beador were on Heather McDonald's Juicy Scoop podcast. And obviously, as anyone would do on Heather McDonald's Juicy Scoop podcast, you're there to dish. It's Juicy Scoop. So Tamra and Shannon were dishing and chatting with scooping, juicing, shit talking with Miss Heather McDonald. And they shit talked Jim Bellino of Jesus Jug's husband and Jim Bellino's business, Jump Management Co. LLC. Like, God forbid your trampoline business like has a bad time. So Jim Bellino says that before a live audience, the three gals were shit talking about Jimmy Boy. And here's how it went down. Do you want to play? We should do a dramatic resuscitation of it.
Yes.
Okay. Who do you want to be?
Well, there's three people, so one of us is going to have to be two people.
I could be two. Okay,
I'll be Tams.
Okay, I'll be Shannon.
No, I'll be Shannon.
Okay, then I'll be Tamra and Tamra. Okay, ready? Tamra. I have a theory. Everything's in her name. He's going to go to jail. Yeah, he's a shady motherfucker. Heather, do they still have the trampoline park? Does anyone know?
No, I heard that they don't.
Heather, they sold it?
Shannon, I heard they don't because they were sued.
Heather, so there wasn't like a lawsuit of someone that
Shannon, no, they were sued. People get there. I won't let my kids go because people get paralyzed and apparently that happens.
Scene.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that is the juicy shit that got us into this whole fiasco.
And we're not republishing the statements. This is being done for educational purposes.
We're here to write.
This is our opinion on the lawsuit. We're not here to republish. Yes.
This is Jim Bellino. We are discussing this. This has nothing to do with you and everything to do with us. And that's
yes. Again, hyperbole.
Okay. Obviously, we don't give a shit about Jim Bellino. So the next issue is there are...
we do right now.
Right now we do. Yeah. For sure. Because Tam Cake and Shannon Beador are involved. Okay, so the claims, there are 6 causes of action, but we're in the appeal stage. So there's really defamation per se, defamation, and false light. So these are the 6 claims, but multiple charges of these claims were brought by Tamra and Shannon. So the statement that was the defamation statement versus Tamra is Jim Bellino sued Tamra saying that on or about June 26, 2018, Tamra said, quote, he is going to go to jail. And Jim Bellino said the people who heard that statement reasonably would have thought that Jim Bellino committed a crime and went to jail.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I will say, I think that Tamra's statements are the worst and probably hold the most weight. And we obviously know this because she's confirmed for trial in November of this year regarding this statement.
So this is still an active litigation.
Yeah.
Which is also why it's just commentary, because we don't have a lot of the final things yet to tell you exactly how it ends for Tamra. But let's get the wheels in motion. Let's chat about defamation. It's really important. Okay, so then he sued Tamra and Shannon together because they allegedly said that the Bellino's divorce is a sham or a fake, and that he was asking that Jim Bellino was asking Jesus Jugs for spousal support because, quote, everything is in her name, meaning all of their assets were allegedly in Jesus Jugs's name. And so Shannon was insinuating there's a bit of a Tom Girardi going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then false light, it basically just says that they put that they talked shit on Jim Bellino and it like gave him a bad reputation. And he sued Tamra and Shannon together on that one as well for the same statements of the alleged sham marriage, and allegedly going to jail. So the statements we're talking about are he's going to jail and that the divorce was a sham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then Tamra, Tamcake, filed an anti-slap motion against Jim Bellino. Do you want to chat about that?
Yes.
It's okay. You were like totally zoned out. I'm like, are you there? Hi.
Yeah. So anti-slap motion. So what this motion is, it's generally intended to prevent people from using like the judicial process or the courts and potential threatening lawsuits against people for exercising the right to freedom of speech. And so if somebody comes in and says, hey, look, like, Lauren, I'm going to sue you because you said I'm fat. And like that hurt my feelings. And that's defamatory, you know, and then I would
never say about you, by the way.
Yeah. But then you could come back in and file an anti-slap motion saying, hey, look, I was exercising my right to freedom of speech. Like there's no legal grounds for this cause of action or this lawsuit. And the court will generally grant your anti-slap motion.
And SLAP stands for Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participation.
Dear God.
I know. So it makes itself be SLAP. And basically it's saying like you're purposefully suing us so that we don't participate in an open dialogue about whatever's happening.
Yeah. And we want people to be able to exercise their constitutional right to free speech.
Of course.
And you don't ever want to put a chilling effect on somebody's ability to openly speak and comment and have opinions.
Right.
And so what this is doing, it's just
my opinion.
Yeah. It's a balancing test, or not a test, but it's checks and balances, you know?
Checks and balances.
Keep all those litigious freaks in check.
Our vexatious litigants.
Oh my God.
We'll get to them.
The vexies.
The vexy vibes. So Tamra's motion was denied and the court was like, so Tamra's all, yeah, like you can't sue us for this because we were all on a show together. And it's like, obviously we can talk about the people we were on a show with because it was like public. And the court's all, yeah, Jesus Jugs was on your show and the divorce is public. So yeah, it is a matter of public interest, but it doesn't sound like whatever you were saying, Tamcake, was a joke or an opinion. Yeah. It sounded like it was a matter of a fact.
Yeah, statement rooted in fact.
Yeah. And so because of that, there was no context provided with the court allegedly to show the court like, hey, yeah, we're giving a joke, we're giving an opinion, we're chatting about XYZ. So that's why her motion was denied, because it's like, yeah, you're right, but you weren't joking, allegedly.
Yeah, and I think that if it went to a jury, I think what the judge was saying in denying her motion is like, I think that there's facts to substantiate a cause of action, and this needs to go to a trier of fact to make a determination of whether or not this was in fact defamatory.
Yeah, exactly. So to get through the defamation action, so where we're at now is we know exactly what was said. We know the shit talking that happened with Heather and Tamra and Shannon, just chit chatting about alleged paralyzation at the trampoline park and then insinuating that a divorce was a sham. And now we're at defamation. So when you're proving a defamation case, there are two types of like ways that you can communicate a sentence. Like, let's come up with a fake like hyperbolic sentence so that like we won't get sued by Jim Bellino. So let's say, I'll use myself. Lauren dresses like a fraud because she is a fraud. Okay, so that's our statement. Lauren dresses like a fraud and she is a fraud. So if you're saying that shit about me and you write it down, that's called libel. It depends on how fancy you want to be. I feel like being fancy and I'm into my topo cheeks right now. So it's libel and slander. Slander is the other one we're going to talk about.
There's libel and there's slander. Libel is when you write something down. And so that's in a publication. That's
a blog.
It could be on a blog. It could be on your Instagram account. It's in print. It's a picture. And what happens is it exposes this libelous, now I can't even say it, libelous statement, exposes a person to potential hatred, contempt, ridicule, and it can cause this individual to be shunned or avoided. And it generally, this, like a libel statement, has a tendency to injure somebody, whether that's emotionally, physically, in their job, financially.
Like either your feelings got hurt, you lost a brand deal, you got fired.
And then you have slander. So slander is what people would be sued for on podcast for making defamatory statements orally. And so again, this is one of my, so slander is like, this area was like one of my favorite subjects because there are specific oh my God, you guys, I'm intoxicated.
We're bearing with you. We're being patient. We know you're hungover as fuck.
I'm dying.
I know.
And it's really hard
to talk smart things.
Yeah. To try to be smart and educated when you're hungover. Okay. So
give yourself a break. We're all friends here.
So in the Code of Civil Procedure for California, they outline and they define what slander is. And then they specifically outline things called slander per se, which mean on their face, they're defamatory.
Like meaning you don't even need context. Like
you don't need context at all.
Like and Cash says the sentence, Lauren is cheating on her boyfriend.
So these are the 4 areas that are slander per se, where they are on their face, and like somebody doesn't have to prove that they've actually been harmed because it's just implied.
It's just assumed.
Yes. So one of them is if I were to say, Lauren was engaged in criminal behavior, you had been convicted, punished, indicted, and
for fraud, that was whatever.
For fraud, and it was completely false, unsubstantiated, and I was saying it as a statement. I wasn't saying it in like an opinion or in, like we said, in hyperbole or joking, satirical. I'm making the statement. That is slander per se. So, or something that this is like one of my favorites. If I were to say that you've contracted some type of contagious infectious disease or loathsome disease, like Lauren's got herpes, and remember Joanna Krupa from Miami?
Yeah.
With who was the lawsuit against? Brandy Glanville.
Yes.
And it was something about her vagina. Yes. I don't know why I'm whispering that. Vagina. It was something about her, and I think that was a defamation lawsuit as well.
Oh my God.
Because there was some insinuation. Yeah, maybe we will, because that was really, really interesting. And then the next one is, the third one is something that tends to directly injure a person with respect to their job, profession, career, trade, business. And so this is what Jim Bellino is saying, correct? Like,
right.
Hey, well, I guess it's 1 and 3, because he's saying, hey, look, you said that I'm going to jail. So you're insinuating that I've been convicted of some type of crime or found guilty. And on top of that, the statements that you're making injure me in some way and are directly related to my business, because I think that's with Shannon Beador, because making the paralyzed statements, because if you guys don't know, he owns that giant trampoline park down in San Diego. And those trampoline parks are very, very popular. And I don't think the fact that he owns it, like now he's paralyzing people, it's just crazy. I know.
And it's also like, you're not that special, Jim. Oh my God, my man just walked in with bacon.
Oh, George Glass, throw it through the computer. Let me have some.
I can't eat it in the bed. I'll be right out.
Okay, I'll leave it up for you.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last one is something that goes to, and it's hilarious that these laws are so old that they always reference a man. They don't make any reference to a female.
Ugh.
And so the fourth one is it imputes to him impotence or want of chastity. And so it just makes me laugh.
Well, so first of all, impotence is a funny word to me. But the thing that imputes him to impotence, doesn't that mean that he can't have kids?
I thought it meant that your wiener doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So I think exactly. So it's very funny
it's like inability to achieve an erection.
Oh my God. It's so
like
crazy.
ED.
ED is on its face. If you accuse someone of their wiener not working on its face, it's slander per se. Like that is so bad. Oh my God. These people, these men are so fragile.
Wait, and you guys, let's all remember though, it's slander per se when it's false, but ladies, when it's true, you let them know.
Truth is an absolute defense to defamation.
Yeah.
So if that wiener doesn't work and they sue you for that, and you say Brian's wiener doesn't work, and then Brian turns around and sues you in court and is like, that is so slander, then you say, guess what? You have to prove that it's false. So get up on that witness stand, pop a boner, and let's see what you got.
Let's see that wet noodle. Are you thinking what I'm thinking right now? The personal story.
Oh, now I am. Ew. We will never tell this story.
You guys, we could never.
It's upsetting.
It's so upsetting. It's so triggering. And it really took some
everybody
therapy
by storm. Yeah, exactly. We're still recovering from our wet noodle story that I'm now joining myself in, even though I was not there, but I was there.
Okay. So anyways, moving on. So like we said, if you in any way make those slanderous statements that we just listed of the 4, it is slanderous it's slanderous and defamatory on its face. So you don't have to prove any type of actual damages. So
if you're going to say his wiener doesn't work, just make sure it really doesn't, which shouldn't be that hard.
And we're going to drop some
literally.
I'm going to drop some legal like Latin words on you right now. So everything else that's not, so those 4 are slander per se. Anything else is slander per
quote.
So
I'm just going to take some credit here. I took Latin in high school, so I do know that quote is quote.
But it's libel, or what'd you say? What'd you call
libel?
Libel,
slander. So we're doing slander per quote.
It's so weird that words are hard to pronounce.
Words are so hard.
Like you grew up in America. English is your first language, but like, isn't it insane? Like you now as like a 30-year-old adult still can't pronounce words.
I think about that all the time. I'm always like, okay, I'm a native English speaker. English is my first and only language. I was an accelerated reader. I literally went to law school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck people are talking about half the time. I'm like, can you use a littler word, please? Like you're doing this on purpose.
Yeah. Like you're doing it to hurt me.
And it's like, we get it. You Googled a word once. Chill, bro.
Oh my God. Ooh, you took the SAT.
Ooh, vocab. Anyway, we should probably try harder, but I don't care.
Wow. Your lexicon is so large. And it's like when I learn a new word, I learn a word.
Is so large.
But it's like when I learn a word, I don't learn it from studying. I learn it from the Bravo Lebs.
Exactly.
AKA Tom Sandoval. Oh no, I'm sorry. Tom Schwartz. He has a great lexicon. I invite you to go back and watch Vanderpump Rules. Like he is so smart. And also, step on Southern Charm.
Okay,
he taught me lexicon.
I'm also gonna say Shep on Southern Charm teaching Cash what lexicon means. Okay, this is what we're doing here today. We're just gonna give praise where praise is due. I'm just gonna have a moment to shout out Camille Grammer. I didn't even know that the word pernicious existed until she said it on TV. Still don't know what it means, but yeah, she is pernicious.
Yeah, and I'll use it incorrectly.
Give me a hard word. I'll use it in every sentence, and no one will ever know what's going on.
Oh my God, I can't. Okay, you guys, I don't know if I'm leveling out on the drunkenness, but I'm feeling better.
Yeah, I can tell. Like you have a bit of brightness in you. I don't know if the sun shifted, but you look brighter. You look healthier. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, it was bad in the beginning.
I mean, when I cracked the can and you physically left the video recording to gag, I was like, oh my God.
Okay. So back to defamation. Okay. So you may be sitting here thinking, what are defenses to defamation? And we are here to tell you, because don't worry, if you get yourself in a defamation pickle, these are the things that you can use as an affirmative defense. One, being the truth. Like we said,
this is not legal advice.
This is not legal advice at all. This is us reading the Cassie jury instruction.
Yeah, exactly.
The truth will always set you free. Mm-hmm. And remember, if your man did suffer from ED and he's trying to claim that it's defamatory and you know for a fact it's true, you stand up and you claim that defense.
Claim that defense, and you make that motherfucker get on that stand and whip out that willy and try to make it rise. And you say, rise, baby, rise. And it won't. And then you'll be like, precisely.
Exactly.
Pernicious fucker.
Because let's remember, so if somebody brings a defamation claim or a lawsuit, oh God, he's got the squeaky toy.
I know.
Everyone, let's have a moment of silence.
The dog entered the room with the squeaky toy.
Laura, he has 2 tennis balls in his mouth and a toy.
Oh my God. He learned well from his mama. 2 balls and a thing in its mouth. I'm sorry. That wasn't defamation because it's false.
Okay. So
so it is defamation. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I defamed you. I apologize.
So the first offense is the truth. Second defense is that the statement was merely an opinion.
Uh-huh.
And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Forever and iconic. And if she did not use that in her anti-slap motion,
I know.
Like, her lawyer needs to be fired.
Like, what are you even doing here?
Another defense is that there was a consent to the publication of the alleged defamatory statement, meaning you allowed for it to happen. You agreed to it. You agreed to the statement being said on a podcast. You
like I did earlier when I said, Cash can say that I'm a fraud that dresses bad.
Like, who would have thought you needed consent in the bedroom and courtroom? You know,
you always need consent. Listen, consent. Word of the day, consent.
Okay. And then you have your absolute privileges, which mean defamatory statements cannot take place in what we're about to. So like judicial proceedings, government officials, legislative debates, political broadcasts or speeches, and statements between spouses.
So this is where I'm at. So statements between spouses, meaning like if my husband and I are in, which I don't have a husband, but if we were in a mage fight, and I was like, you're nothing but a slimy butthole that can't get it up. That's privileged. I can say that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should, but you can.
But you can.
Okay. And then there's some other qualified privileges, which are kind of boring. So I don't really want to talk about them.
Yeah.
What I do want to talk about are the elements of a defamation claim. This is kind of like the meat and potatoes, like
the meat and potatoes.
This is going to be important. Okay. Wait, I lost my slide.
Everybody listen up eventually. Once we find where we are.
Oh, here. Okay. So like we said, so defamation is an intentional this is like the actual legal site. So it says defamation is the intentional publication of a statement of fact that is false, unprivileged, and has a natural tendency to injure or that causes special damages. Okay. So the things that you need to prove in order to prove a defamatory lawsuit oh my God, I'm declining.
You're declining. It happened. You were fine for a minute. We're back on the decline.
Back on the decline. Okay.
It's peaks and valleys.
Peaks and
you're in a valley. Wow. It's fine.
I'm in a valley. So, okay. So the elements of a defamation claim are: 1, it needs to be published. Like we said before, whether that's on your Instagram account, on a podcast, there has to be a publication. And it doesn't need to be like a formal publication. It could be me simply reiterating or saying a statement to a third party.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be this like,
oh, a publisher signed off on it. Schuster and Simon were all, totally.
You don't need a publishing company to make a publication. Like,
it just means now we've said it.
But now we said it.
You can publish it to your gran.
Yeah.
Okay.
To your gran.
So there has to be a publication. It has to be false. Like we said, it has to be defamatory. It has to be unprivileged, and it has to have a natural tendency to injure or cause special damages.
Yeah.
So in general, written communication that is false, that is not protected by any privilege, and that exposes a person to contempt, ridicule, or certain other reputational injuries constitutes libel. And the defamatory statement must specifically refer to or be or concerning the plaintiff.
Okay, so that means it has to actually be about Jim Bellino.
It had to be about the Bellino. It couldn't have. What the thing is,
like all trampoline parks are bad.
No. And I mean, there are more defamation is extremely complex. Like even a vague statement that somebody could insinuate as being related to, say, Jim Bellino could in fact still be defamatory. Like if a member of the public is able to, decipher and put kind of the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out that it's
about Jim Bellino, like then it's about Jim Bellino.
Do you see this?
Yeah, he's literally like, give me the toy. You guys cannot see this, but Cash just took a squeaky toy away from her dog, and her dog stood up on its hind legs and started tapping her shoulder to be like, give me the fucking toy.
He's a monster. He's like, I swear to God, he's like one of those robots that's gonna, like where you create the robot for fun. Yeah. You think it's gonna be cool, and then it takes over your life and kills you. Yeah. Like that's my dog.
Exactly.
You guys, he opened the front door the other day to let himself out when I was working.
Oh my God, he's so precious.
Oh, he's a psychopath. So the statement really has to be one that's going to injure or cause some type of harm to Mr. Bellino Pants.
Uh-huh.
And in
Mr.
some of
Jesus Jugs.
Yeah. In some of the in some of the case law that I was reading, it kept saying like, it caused harm to your reputation or if your feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I don't know why. It just like kept making me laugh. Like you can honestly say because you hurt my feelings.
Hurt my feelings.
Of course, it's more complex than that, and you have to show
that your pocket was also hurt or something.
Yeah. But anyways, okay.
When we said, "Oh, your feelings can be hurt and you can get in trouble because you hurt someone's feelings," well, there is like if you're a famous person or like a like a celebrity or a politician, or if you're a husband of a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you have to prove malice. And malice means that like you knew that this statement was false and you said it anyway, or you just didn't even fucking care whether it was true or false and you just fully said it anyway. So it doesn't require that the thing that you spoke, like that you truly firmly believe it. It just matters that you said it, and you either said it and you knew it was false, or you said it and you didn't fucking care.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings in the legal world is a reckless disregard.
A reckless disregard. And that's like what this is. It's like you just don't even give a flying fuck. So in order to show that, in order to show the reckless disregard, it's like you have to prove, like Jimmy B would have to prove that there's enough evidence that would allow this conclusion that Tammy Cake really did think like, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't think this is true, but I'm going to say it anyway. Or that Tamra actually had to think like, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if he's a criminal or not. I don't really care. I'm just going to tell everyone that he is. Like, I don't care. So you have to show that there was like this, in fact, like complete nonchalantness about the slandar or the libel.
Yeah, the libel. Yeah. Wow. And so the reason why Lauren made the comment about public figure is that there's different elements for defamation regarding private figures, public figures, limited public figures. It's very complex, like we said. And unfortunately, like this is one of the darkest moments of this podcast is like, we do have to recognize Jim Bellino as a public figure,
Yeah, we do.
And that was hard because I was like, I don't see it, but I
get it, but I don't.
I
don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah. So that was hard. Just so the elements of, because one of the elements, like Lauren said, in proving defamation regarding a public figure or limited public figure is malice. And so these are the elements that are specific. We gave you like the general defamation elements. These are the elements that are specific to a public figure. So Jimmy Boy, the big Bellino is going to have to prove that Pancakes and Shannon Beador, well, not Shannon Beador anymore because it was dismissed, right? Or
I thought they settled.
Well, Shannon got attorney's fees from him.
Yeah, because
So
Tamcake might win. I mean, that's another thing. Like the fact, well, I don't know if I can. Anyway,
So Jimmy B is going to have to say, hey, look, Tamcakes made one or more of the statements to another person about Jim Cakes.
Yeah.
Now I'm confusing the Jim B with the Tamcakes and I'm calling him Jim Cakes.
Whatever. We're in a valley. We're calling him whatever we want.
So Jim Bellino has to show that Tamra made this statement about him to another person. That's easy. That's an easy element to prove because she was on the podcast. Heather was there. Shannon was there and it was published.
We'll just take the clip.
Next, he has to prove that the statements were reasonably understood to be about Jim, which is another easy one.
Right. Because everything's in her name. Jim Bellino's going to jail or whatever she said, allegedly up there, which we don't know. And then we're just repeating and we don't have any meaning behind this.
Yeah. And then the next element is that it says that this person, meaning, so I'm just going to say that people reasonably understood that the statements about Jim Bellino going to jail
were true.
Mm-hmm. In fact, they were false.
Right.
So I mean, this is obviously just my opinion, but like, I think Jim Bellino's got a case.
Yeah. I mean, especially in regards to the trampoline park, because it's like, if his business is the trampoline park and, you know, it is a small business, it's not a national, it's not fucking McDonald's, you know, it's like this little trampoline park that Jim Bellino owns. And for somebody to go on a huge podcast like Juicy Scoop and all this stuff, like, and say that people are allegedly being paralyzed there and XYZ, like, I'm sure that would hurt the business in some way or would cause them to have, like, you know, even one less kid's birthday party. Yeah. Because someone said, like, listen, not only is he allegedly a criminal, but people are getting paralyzed there. It's like, okay, then any rando off the street is going to be like, yo, what the fuck's up with this Jimmy B? You know?
Well, and the problem too with Tamra going on the podcast and making a statement that he's going to jail or insinuating that he's a fraud or he's engaged in this criminal behavior, Juicy Scoop is listened to by a lot of reporters, journalists, people that write those T-blogs. Right. They could easily pick that up, not do any research, and republish that. And so now this information's out there to the masses and it's completely unsubstantiated and false. Mm-hmm. So I'm really interested and intrigued in Jim's attorney and how his theory and strategy for the case, and also how Tamra is going to create her defense. Yeah. Because obviously it's not true. So she doesn't have that affirmative defense. Right. She's going to have to come up with and say, hey, look, like when I made that statement, like I truly believed it to be true because I heard this from this person, or I was told that he was being this is all alleged, by the way, that he was being investigated by the police department or what. Like she's going to have to come with some type of evidence, or she's going to have people come in and testify. But the fact that she repeated a rumor that wasn't, if it's just the fact that somebody like, oh, Lauren told me this, that's not enough, because now that person published a defamatory statement to you and now you're republishing it.
Right. And it's like, even though you heard it from someone, like you need to check check the receipts. Yeah. Like, or else it's just gossip. And that's why I don't play in gossip, because it's like, because no one wants to be fucking sued for defamation. So check your sources. Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame Jim I understand why he filed the lawsuit against Tamra. I do. And I'll be interested to see, is because supposedly they confirmed for trials starting, I think like November 9th, 2021. Right. Uh-huh. And obviously it's all been delayed because of COVID, but you know, there could be a last minute settlement that comes out of it. But, I wonder if, she's not going to talk about, Tamra's not going to talk about it on Housewives, but now that Tamra's kind of coming back into the OC world, like I wonder if we're going to get, you know, kind of, it's going to pick up some steam in the blogs.
Yeah. I'd be very curious. Okay. So then in order, like, you know, so we have all this stuff. Oh, you talk shit. Oh, my feelings were hurt. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, wham. So how do you get
This is interesting.
What's the punishment?
Well, the punishment is you got to pay money.
Yeah.
But something that's really interesting, and I don't know if like the normal lay person or will understand this, but Jim Bellino has to prove by clear and convincing evidence that Tamra knew the statements were false. So he has to present that evidence. That's going back really quickly to like the theory of like what his attorney, the theory that they're going to come up with. Like they got to come in with some type of evidence for trial saying, hey, look, like I know that you knew that the statements were false. And that's hard.
That is hard because it's like, I mean, obviously they had to like take her deposition and be like, so like, why did you say this? Okay, well, what made you think that? Like, because even if Tam Cake's like, you know, I heard rumblings and I saw XYZ and I know that blah, blah, blah sued person B. And so I said what I said. But if Jim says, no, I like maybe in her deposition, she goes, yeah, well, I don't like Jim. And so I said what I said. Yeah. That would be showing that it's like she knew it was false or she didn't even fucking care if it was false. But, you know, we don't know any of this because we don't have those documents. It's an active litigation. And like we can't. I mean, I'm not comfortable just airing out unless it's Tom Girardi. Like,
well, I mean,
that's very public. But I don't think it's appropriate to air that out.
Well, and there's a difference. Tom Girardi, everything is true. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Okay, so you asked, how is somebody punished? Like if Tam Cakes is found
liable.
I was almost going to say liable.
You almost were going to say liable.
Yeah. If she's found liable for this, she has to pay money. And like we said, it is slander per se, because it's related to that criminal conduct, that alleged criminal behavior. And so the damages are assumed at that point, and she doesn't have to prove actual damages. And
I mean, it could be anything. It could even be like $1. Like, hey, you hurt my feelings. Like, nominal. You have to pay me $1 because my feelings were hurt, which is, you know, that's like that $1 thing we can get into when we talk about one day, like Taylor Swift's lawsuit against the guy who grabbed her ass. And she sued him for $1 because it's like, fuck you. Like, but yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens at the end of this. Like if Tam Cake and Jimmy B don't settle, like, will she have to pay? What is it like? Did he actually lose business from that? Like, you know, because if someone's saying there's a criminal running a trampoline park, I'm not letting my kid go there. So what a statement. Yeah. Wow. Criminal running a trampoline park. And of course, we don't believe the statement made by Tamra. We are just talking about this in a fun, educational, fun, educational way. And I think we might have to do the Joanna Krupa one, because now that we've kind of like dipped our toe into the defamation pool, we can go a little bit deeper and get a little bit more complex, because we know that our listeners are smart and we know that they can handle it. Yeah. Look at you guys. I mean, you're fucking geniuses. It's like, I love the people who listen to this podcast so much, and the people who fucking DM us and vote in our polls. It is so fun. And it's like, I'm just having the time of my life listening to you guys and having your responses. It's so fun. Dude, people are hilarious. That if our Instagram account has taught me anything, it is that people are fucking funny. It is literally reinvigorating my belief that citizens of this country can be good. The world. The world. That's true. You guys, like, hello, Belgium, by the way. Like, okay, what is happening with people in Belgium loving our pod? What? It just reminds you when Dorit said she was a child of the world. I'm a child of the world. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get into some criminal behavior, because I know you got to go soon. But I have one. Did you think about your criminal behavior? No, you go first. Let me think. Okay, so here's the deal. For people who this is their first time listening, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. At the end of our episode, just to like lighten the mood, we think about and discuss like the thing in our week that just we find to be absolutely criminal and it needs to be put in jail and just dealt with. So for me, It's the scent that they put in the Dawn Power Wash dish spray because it is so pungent. And it's like, if you're telling me that I can clean my entire house with this fucking spray bottle, and it works, by the way, the Dawn Power Wash is the best soap I've ever used. Hands down. Sponsor us, send us a bottle. If you take the fucking fragrance out, because it stinks and it gives me a headache. And so that's my criminal behavior. Take the scent out of Dawn Power Wash dish soap.
You could tweet them.
I'm going to tweet them, actually. That's a good point. Do you have any?
My criminal behavior is when you call somebody and they don't answer and then they text you.
Yeah, that is pretty criminal. And I'll say I'm guilty of that. I've done that.
Yeah. But to text, you can text and say, hey, sorry, can't talk. I'll give you a call later. But it's like, I'm calling you for a reason. There's a reason why I don't want to put this in a text, or it's a reason why, or, something else that really bothers me. Have you ever called somebody or had somebody, text you and say, hey, can you call me?
Oh my God.
They've made no attempt to try to communicate with you, but they're telling you to call them.
And it's like, why don't you call me? First of all, and second of all, why are you going to just leave such a statement in writing on my thing? So I'm just supposed to open my phone and you're supposed to say, hey, can you call me? First of all, don't give me a task. That's fucking rude. Second of all, don't leave some ominous message like, hey, can you call me? Regarding what? Are we mad? Regarding what?
Oh my God, Lord, you're so
wild.
The children of the world are smart, but they're wild.
We are smart and we are wild and we are children of the world.
Oh my God. Well, you guys, that ends our pod. Thank you guys for bearing with me in my hungover, drunken spiral. The peaks and the valleys. The peaks were high. The valleys were quite low.
And you know what? We were here for all of it. So buy our merch at our merch website, bonfire/allegedlybravo. Go on our Instagram at allegedlybravo. Please follow us. We have so much fun. We do trials every Friday with classic sky tops. And we do fun things and we have fun. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about, go on our website, www.allegedlybravo.com. We love you. Bye. Oh, was that too much?
Oh my God. Bye.
Bye.